The Insurrection Myth. Not that it needed one, but the January 6th recordings that Tucker Carlson released on March 6th and 7th are just yet one more nail in the already heavily over-nailed coffin of the insurrection. We need to give January 6th, 2021 its real name, the Insurrection Myth. It's no wonder the Jan 6 committee didn't want the recordings released publicly. You and I in the public couldn't, you see, be trusted with the full story. We might have come to our own conclusions, like big boys and girls. No, the committee needed us to come to the committee's conclusion. I'm reminded of Stalin's show trials in the 1930s, where the government allowed only a very precisely constructed narrative to see the light of day, because the Soviet people, but especially the Soviet government's lackeys in the West, like Walter Duranty, needed to see not the truth, but the Soviet government's fabricated narrative. This is how the Democratic Party has treated us, the people, for decades now. Had we, the people, seen the footage that Carlson has just released, we'd still have come to the correct conclusion. 1. There was no insurrection. 2. There was a lot of perfectly denounceable, disorderly conduct, and we on the right properly and immediately denounced it. 3. There was, obviously, no need for a January 6th committee, which became only a kangaroo court anyway, as soon as the hack Nancy Pelosi disallowed any potential dissenting voices on the committee. This, by the way, might be the most egregious abuse of congressional power in any of our lifetimes. But you see, the Dems needed some immense albatross to hang around Donald Trump's neck, and a few eccentrics and kooks on January 6th obligingly gave it to the bastards. The problem was that if the entire story were known, then the hurriedly faked narrative would die before it was born. So the Dems needed to manage their fabrication very tightly. With the crucial assistance of Pelosi's power abuse and their minions in the media, they were able to do that and successfully launched the myth. In the final reckoning, January 6th was just a far, far, far less big deal than the hysterics would have you believe. It was the insurrection myth. There are a lot of lessons in this vast fraud committed against the former president and the American people. I can think of a dozen hugely important lessons right off the top of my head, but enumerating them would derail this very brief video essay from its now blindingly obvious thesis and conclusion. The correct name for January 6th, 2021 is The Insurrection Myth.